Looks like we might get a bidding war for him. We have over here Kerry Chavis on Finn, he calls him. Actually, you have another name, don't you? A show name? Huh? Oh, the Tin Man. That's what's with the hat, you know? Kerry's hat has a lot of tin on it. He has a dressage saddle with tin on it too. And Kerry and Finn is 10 years old, and they work with me sometimes and other trainers that are at our farm right now. And Finn is eventing at the training level, and I think they're going to be moving up to preliminary this year, if all goes well. And he raced a little bit. He's 10 now, so he's had a number of years since he raced. And he's a great example, I think, of the quality that you can get off the track. And then cantering along here is Michelle Warrow, who actually works for me as an assistant trainer. So she rides about 6 or 8 or 10 horses some days at our farm. And she bought this horse, Banks, not without me, I guess is his name. And she got him just in December. And my barn manager, Emily Segrist, had gotten him just a couple months before that off the track. He ran last in June. And so he hasn't had a whole lot of training either, right? Just a few months. And he's only been jumping for, 6-8 weeks or something. And he's by a stallion called Not For Love, who's the top racing sire in the Mid-Atlantic region by quite a bit, a lot of the last few years. And Emily had gotten a Not For Love offspring before and thought that the horse jumped incredibly well. And this horse, Michelle bought because he jumps incredibly well. And she's trying to get to her first 1-star in eventing, and she wants a horse that will jump anything, and this horse will jump anything. But they've got their issues, which we'll work on. And then Zoe, where's Zoe? There you are. Zoe's the only one here that I don't know, that I've never seen before. So let me pull out my little piece of paper to remind me of the horse's name, which is Lola. Lola. And Lola's even older. Lola's 12 or 13, or they're not sure. And Lola raced a little bit and was not very successful, I understand. And then Cantor, Pennsylvania placed Lola with her previous owner, and now Zoe's got her on the next generation. And Lola has fox hunted quite a bit, and I understand she loves it. She's very good at that. And she's done hunter shows. And we'll jump anything. We'll see. Okay. So they're warming up here. They're taking it easy. Little walk, trot, and canter. Is everybody cantered? Yeah? Okay. If you were here in some of the earlier sessions we did, we talked a lot about the fact that racehorses lean on their forehand. Racehorses gallop, pulling with their front legs, pushing with, they use their whole body to go as fast as they can, right? And they put a lot of weight in the bit when they do it. And it does not feel, it's not the kind of canter you would want going to a jump. Because you kind of feel like you're going downhill. And gravity's just taking you. So the first thing that most people do who are going to jump an Ex-Racehorse or any horse that's on its forehand is to try to shift the balance back a little bit so that they're lighter in front and more adjustable in their canter. And you'll probably see as you watch that High Level is not shifted his weight back as much as some of the other horses because he's so much greener. But High Level has natural balance in the canter. And as Tiffany demonstrated in the trainer challenge yesterday, you can just let go of the front end, and she let go of the reins and put her hands out like this, cantering around, and the horse carried himself. So he's got natural self-carriage in the canter. But he looked a little hunter-like on his forehand as he did it, and it was very easy for him. If Tiffany was lucky enough to keep this horse for a few months, by the end of it, he would be sitting a little bit more in his canter. So I don't know how much we're going to be cantering jumps with this horse. We may be trotting them, but he'll tell us as we go along. This horse over here, show us a little right lead canter, Michelle. Banks is, he came to the Maryland Expo, and it wasn't the greatest ride of Michelle's life. He's a little bit overwhelmed by the atmosphere as he is here. At home, Banks stays quite soft and quiet and supple in his back when he's working. And what you're seeing here is tension, right, in this canter. But you're also seeing balance and almost collection, even though it's sort of tight collection. And one of the great things about this horse is his canter. This horse, even right off the track, can carry himself in a canter, sitting and waiting without any problem. He was strong enough behind to do that. His weak point, however, would be his trot. He doesn't release in his back and take big steps and swing in his shoulder at the trot yet. But Michelle's working on that, and it's getting better and better. But if she were to trot right now, go ahead and trot. See a little bit, like the steps aren't that big, and it doesn't feel all that loose. She has to keep him waiting, hoping that he'll take that big deep breath, let go some of the tension so she can push him into the bridle more and take bigger steps. But she just has to wait and allow that. She's probably not going to find that today because of the atmosphere. But that canter you were just seeing with that horse is something that we want to try to create on the ones that don't do it naturally a little bit. Zoe, let's see your canter. Old mare knows where the out gate is, don't she? Good. So what I'm seeing in this canter is also very nice balance. This horse is not on her forehand. However, you'll notice a little bit difference in the frame. Because she does hunters more than she does eventing, the other three all do quite a bit of eventing. She doesn't have to do the dressage phase. And she's not really asking the horse to be round quite as much in its frame. The horse's pole is the highest point, which is good. Oh, now she is, just because I said it. Okay, she can probably do anything with this horse, but it's okay. The point is that they don't have to be round in their frame to have a good canter. And in fact, some show jumpers you'll see have their pole quite high and their neck quite flat as they go. But what matters is that the canter is adjustable. So let's see you lengthen your canter, Zoe. Gallop on a little bit. Ooh, this is a nice little mare, huh? And now let's see you shorten your strides. Aha! Fell behind your leg, broke to trot. Try it again. So, as most of you know who have ever tried to shorten a horse's canter, one of the first things they think is the front door got closed, therefore they stopped. So you got to use more leg to go slower. Okay? One more time. Lengthen here. And then shorten when you get to the far side. Keep enough leg on this. She keeps her feet moving. To me, she looks adjustable, though. I mean, I wouldn't mind jumping on this horse and going over a bunch of fences without even warming up, because she looks to me like she's balanced and she's focused on what's in front of her. Look at her ears pricked forward. Good. So you can jump all day in that canter. That's good. You can walk. Let's see if Carrie's horse can canter. I don't want to see anybody jump until I can see they can canter. Carrie, why don't you lengthen in 2-point down the long side here. Let him just cover some ground. I don't know, this horse obviously didn't win many races. Okay, now put your leg on, sit up and show us your fancy little dressage canter that we've been working on. Where you can do a little 10-meter circle. Good. And this horse constantly needs strengthening and strengthening behind and suppling in his back. Good. So that canter, he's switching behind again. So that canter looks good to me. In fact, when you see this horse and rider jump, you'll see that as soon as he sees a spot to the fence, he immediately gets an adjustment. Why don't you let him canter the other way, just because it's just do a little bit to the right. Make sure he feels okay. They do that when they swing their haunches out. And let's see high levels canter. Either way you want to go. You can tell a lot more by a horse from its canter than you can from its trot, usually. Its walk as well. And you can obviously improve a horse's canter a lot. You can improve its trot a whole lot. But we absolutely have to improve the canter to improve the jumping. So go ahead and canter when you're ready. You're good, Carrie. You warmed up enough? Okay, so here's our baby. He's not actually that young. He's already becoming 7 years old. He just hasn't had much training other than racing. Okay, so look at this horse. This is what you call a natural balance canter. I mean, it's partly that Tiffany's a very good rider, but she's only had 2 weeks to work on it, so it must have come naturally to him. And she's riding him quite softly on a bit of a loopy rein, but it doesn't really. He's got a very short balance stride here on a loopy rein, which is really quite phenomenal for an ex-racehorse with 2 weeks of training. Look at him lengthen. Good. So she just stabilizes her body when she wants to shorten his stride, moves less with the motion, hardly touches his mouth, and he shortens his stride. She's sitting there thinking, I just can't believe this horse. Good. Let him trot and walk and give him a pat when you're ready. Now he's not been in training long, and he's not all that consistent in his feel of the bridle. And when she rides him on the flat in the trot, he actually has a tendency to get behind the bit and get deep. And she's deliberately riding him, I believe, on a bit of a loopy rein to keep him out in front of her and up when he canters. Because she could take a hold and get him deep in his canter, and then she'd find herself cantering down to jumps while he's looking at the ground in front of him. And you don't want that. You want them to look at the rail, top rail of the jump. So with him at his level of training, the best strategy, because he's got the canter and he carries himself, let him do what he's good at. Let him look at the jump. And that's going to be true for all these horses, is that if they'll look at the rail as they approach the jump, you got a pretty good idea that things are going to be okay. Because you like to be able to see your takeoff spot, but sometimes we trick ourselves into believing we're the ones seeing the takeoff spot when it's really that the horse sees it, and then we feel it, and we both sort of, it happens together, and that's why it feels like it came from God instead of it came from us. It just sort of happens when you feel your spot. It's because the horse was able to see it too, I think. Okay, we're going to start out just, first we're going to play with Tiffany and high level, because they're going to do a bit of jumping, and then we're going to max them out, and then they're probably going to quit. And then we'll move on to the more experienced horses. We'll let the experienced horses jump in over a couple of these little X's as well to warm up. But then towards the end, we're going to let them play a little bit more. So whenever you're ready, Tiffany, why don't you just let them trot over. We've got all X's set up here. Let them just trot over X's and play a little bit. And when you've got a young horse that you're jumping in the beginning, good. It's usually best to trot fences because you don't have to worry quite as much about adjustability. They don't tend to get quick. Good. Gives them an opportunity to focus. So it's really nice when you can have a bunch of little X's sit up in your ring and you just start taking the horse around and popping over stuff, and by the end of it they just kind of feel like, oh well, there's nothing to this, it's just part of my flat work. Wow, look at that horse. Don't you want him, Michelle? Oh, you like your horse? Oh, my boss says I can't have two. Okay. Alright, so if you notice there, I mean, this is not normal for a horse to be doing what this horse is doing at this point after 2 weeks, but it's fairly normal after maybe 6, if it happens to be incredibly talented like this horse is. So what we're going to do is give her a little X here, a little vertical here. After our race, I would make it an X also. But this horse is just so amazing that we're going to let her do it like this. Okay? Is that okay, Tiffany? We actually have this at about 18 feet, which is a good distance for trotting in with an X to a small jump. Good boy. he liked that. I mean, he really brought his shoulders up, his withers up, and he kind of felt good afterwards. He kind of threw his head a little bit, and that's okay. Why don't you do it again? Now, part of the trick with these guys when they're young, any young horse, is to let them find their line, and if you feel them drift off their line, to keep them on it without them feeling like you're pulling on their face. We'll see if Tiffany has to work on that. Oh wow, he's so cool. Let him walk a minute. So you saw a little of that there. I don't know if it was pretty subtle, but he came to here and he kind of looked at the gate and thought about going that way, and she kind of opened the right rein just a little bit, and he got up here, and it made him slower, and it made him land here, and it made him put his feet down here, and he had to make a decision whether he was going to put in a little short one or go long, and he just beautiful. This is uneven, isn't it, Tiffany? Okay, so let's let her have a third jump. Actually, let's let you walk for just a minute. Why don't the rest of you all together at the same time, without hitting each other, let your horses all trot over 1 or 2 X's and then come around and trot through this. And I'm not going to give you an order, I'm just going to let you free for all, okay? So keep your eyes up. Even an experienced horse should be able to trot a nice little fence. Okay. So Banks there with Michelle is feeling a little bit eager, but jumping okay still. Banks is such a good natural jumper that it's hard for him to make a mistake even when he's not going well.
I made from the Sandra, and
Carrie's horse is so experienced that he's bored by this a little bit. That's okay.
All by themselves. Ow.
Okay.
Out.
I'm going to give Michelle a little bit more time here to work with her young baby. Okay, Carrie, you going to come through here? Yeah, Carrie's going to come through the line. And notice with Michelle's horse that when he gets a little impulsive, even if he gets quick after the fence, she doesn't lean back and pull and stop him. Doesn't punish him because he just jumped. Wouldn't punish him for that. Good. She goes with him and stays up over his withers. Why don't you canter something, Michelle? I think he needs to canter something, don't you? He's feeling a little restricted trotting in. How you doing, Zoe? When you get a chance, trot through this line, okay? Just don't get in Michelle's way. You carry after this, you can walk. Okay, good. Okay, canter nicely. Good, do it again, Michelle. What's going on here is that I'm glad he's being a little bit impulsive and quick because it's not that uncommon. I want you to see how Michelle handles it. And the reason I asked her to canter is that I wanted the horse to find a rhythm and hypnotize himself a little bit and just go around. Good. So that was not a perfect rhythm. So she couldn't really get the right canter that she wanted. Come on through, Zoe. Good. Do you want to do that one more time, Zoe? Just for the horse. Why don't you let him walk, Michelle? Give him a little break. Just rein. And then Zoe's going to come through one more time, and then we're going to... They need to know they're jumping. The experienced horses, sometimes experienced horses at the very first jump of the day will think, oh, I thought we were doing flat work today. And they take a look at it and they're awkward. Good. All righty. Ooh, look at that flying change. That horse is broke. Rider's okay too, I think. Good, let her walk. All right. Why don't we let you do this once to remind him that it's here? And then we're going to put, for the first time in his life, I believe, a third jump in a row, right? Okay.
Guess so.
God, that horse has got so much talent. Let him walk a minute and I'll make it a little baby jump.
Yeah. Fitting more often right there.
When you see a horse that jumps like that one, you should buy it.
Let me call Sam.
The way he uses his back, he has a vascular, he lowers his head, he raises his back, his knees are up, and it's just like you can tell the whole top got stretched. He's also fairly quick about it. He's quick but not too quick, he's sharp. God. Alright. And this is more like 21 feet. Let me walk it again just to make sure I'm a little long. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. It's like 20 feet.
How much is he?
Yeah, sure. So she's going to come angling through once so that the horse is seeing the last jump. Looks a little different with the big solid standards. And then she's going to come through. Good. Now the reason that Tiffany is able to do stuff like ride with a loopy rein and still steer, or show off and drop her reins on a green horse, is that she has balance over her feet and her hands are independent of everything else. And she doesn't need the horse's mouth to balance her, obviously. And that's key. Good boy. He always lands on the right lead too. Horse is just naturally balanced. Okay. So he was looking at the third jump when he jumped the second a little bit, right? And that's what happens when you have a line of jumps. The most tempting thing to do for the horse and the rider is to focus too much on what's coming and forgetting that you got to jump what's in front of you. So we're going to let her do that again. He's not quite as fond of little children over the rail as the horse yesterday. Trainer challenge. God, that is just incredible. Well, look, she asked for a fine change and she got it. Holy moly. Racehorses do lead changes, by the way. They go on the left lead around the turn, and then they switch to the right on the straightaway. The aids aren't the same. Make a circle, and I'm going to make you a little oxer. He's never jumped one of those either. Oh, yeah, maybe we had a teeny oxer the other day. But, wow, let it walk. Good job. Nice quiet clapping. Actually, you know what you can do if you want, if you don't want to scare Michelle's horse, piss him off and make him do that with his head. You guys are from Pennsylvania, and there's a lot of Quakers. What they do in their silent meetings when they really want to applaud, but they can't, is they go like this. You can do that one. Anyway, it's true. Okay, that. He got short, successful, done. Dude, I know how to go through 3 jumps in a row in a line and stay relatively straight, even though I'm not really that broken in the bridle, which is why she kind of did it with a light rein and guided the horse. But the message there is that you don't necessarily have to wait to put all the pieces together to jump. In fact, I find that often the horses get a little bored with flat work and a little bored and they need variety. You start putting up rails, even a horse that's, fresh off the track, young horse, they do it and it's fun. It's fun. They like it. It breaks things up. Okay. now you other guys, what are we gonna do? We could help Banks here a little bit, and Michelle. Banks is still not into this. And one of the reasons that I encourage Michelle to bring Banks up here is that they really need to get around and do stuff, because he does get agitated when he's in an environment that's different and he doesn't quite understand it. He's he's confident in that he's brave. This horse will jump anything you put in front of him. He'll attack it and jump it. She's had to make sure and to work on keeping his body soft when he jumps, and soft for his flat work, and relax. I mean, he's a bit of a worrier. He's the type who might get ulcers. He's the type who might go off his feet. He's not that unusual for a racehorse. We happen to have these other 3 horses aren't so much like that.
Seriously.
So he's kind of trotting along like this.
Me too. I'm just
And I think he's going to be best cantering jumps, because cantering is his best gait. So here's what we're going to do for him. We are going to set up. Can I get a Daryl out here, somebody, a couple people, to make that one at that height? Just a rail with a ground rail on each side. In fact, let's go up for all these horses. 3 holes. 2 holes on that one, it's higher. Actually, 1 hole on that side, 2 on the other. I think it's uneven. I think that Banks needs to crack his back a little bit. You know what I mean? He needs to have something to look at, focus on, other than you guys. We'll see. So Michelle, how about right lead circle, just this jump? So what she's doing here is she's doing a little bit of flat work, a little bit of leg yielding to get him on the A's, to get him listening to her leg, focusing on that and suppling his body. When you go into an environment on a hot horse and he's thinking and focusing on everything but you, rather than, this took me a while to learn. I used to go in and do dressage tests on these horses off the track, and I would go in and kind of try to hope nothing bad would happen, and I would stop riding. And I found over time that, okay, good. Actually, that was interesting. She got a kind of a long spot, took a big jump, and he landed in a better canter than he took off in. Go ahead and do that again. But I learned that you really need to put more leg on and ride the horse more into the bridle, put the aids on more, and the horse actually relaxes in the comfort of the connection. All right, now let's see here. Good. One more time like that. So Banks is sitting here thinking, now I get to play the game. This is the game that I'm good at. And let him walk a minute. Good. Pretty, huh? That horse kind of looks like he could jump anything. And he's very agile, he's very athletic, which is why his relatives are good racehorses. Walk just a minute, and let's let each of you do the same thing. Just circle that one jump. Just canter that one jump on a circle. You ready, Carrie? Good. That was good to see. Kerry waited. I know he was thinking, I want to push for that long spot. And he waited, and his horse actually gave him a pretty nice jump from a pretty close spot, keeping his stride short. Good. He waited again. He got that same spot, didn't you, Kerry? Okay, now go a little forward, 2-point, Kerry. And then go ahead and sit again when you get close to the fence. So you let the horse kind of cover the ground, you change your rhythm. Good enough. Let him walk and pat it. Carrie used to do a little bit of crazy riding, I think, when he was younger. You rode a couple steeplechase, did you? Yeah. So, and he did a fair amount of hunters and some jumpers, and I think he rode some pretty hot horses. And he was the type who would like to go long, right? I mean, he's brave as can be, and he just likes to run on the fences a little bit. And as he's learned more and more and more on the dressage side, he's learning how to balance his horse, and it's comfortable to wait. Okay. Same thing, Zoe. You guys probably thought you were going to see a bunch of racehorses running fast at jumps today, didn't you? Well done. Good. She has a good eye, too. Her horse stalled just a little bit there, and she saw a spot. She said, go to that, girl. One more time. Listen to the rhythm and see if she keeps it perfect. Okay. Oh, you can do your fancy change. Okay, why don't you change direction, Zoe? Do it once on your right lead. So you saw she had to hold for that spot. She got up there, and if you had measured the same stride all the way to the jump, she would have landed right smack in the middle of it. She saw that about 3 strides out, and she shortened. Good, let her walk. Good job. Give her a pat. You do have good riders in here, so that's about 90% of the game. A horse, you have to have a good horse too, but these riders are all balancing their horses, and because they have good enough canters, they're seeing maybe 2, maybe 3, maybe 4 strides out, kind of where their horse's feet need to be. Eric Dirks won the trainer challenge in part maybe because he started showing off yesterday, didn't he? He was cantering his horse to show that he really did have an adjustable horse, and he started counting backwards at 6 every time he got to a jump. So he would see 6 strides out, which is about here to there, and he would go 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, jump. Doesn't seem possible, does it, to be able to measure with your eye like that? And he doesn't really. He really just sort of has a sense of it, and then he just rides the canter. But all these guys are doing that. So now what we have to be able to do is ride a 6-stride line. So they're going to come in on their right lead this time, and they're going to jump in, and they're going to land about here. About the same distance as the height of the jump. And then they're going to do about 12-foot strides. So I'm going to walk it. 1, 2, 3, 1. 3 feet is 1/4 of 12. Does that work? 1, 1, 2, 3, 2. 1, 2, 3, 3. 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 5. Puts me right there. Okay? Easy as can be. So Michelle's going to go first. Here's what I'm going to let her do to make it easy, because we want success every time. I want you to come around first on your right lead and just jump this one on a circle, and then come around to the line. And the reason I'm asking her to do that is that when they're on a long, straight approach, often the horse will see the jump and want to go to it and get impulsive. When you come around a nice curve to the jump, that doesn't happen as much, and it's a little bit easier to keep a rhythm with some horses. Okay, good. Now what she's going to find is that I would say that canter was about a 10-foot stride coming in. Now if she's going to do it at 5, she's going to have to do a 12-foot stride. You can choose if you like to do it at 6. If you want to do it at 6, do it at 6. And I know what she's thinking. Thank you, Steuart. Because she doesn't want her horse to get quick and impulsive. So she's feeling like the 10-foot stride or 11. Okay, she did it at 6, but she had to wait to get it, right? Good. Now you want to do it at 5? I think you'll be all right. So this time she's going to have to allow the horse to take her a little bit more. She's not going to go flying through the roof if she did, but but she's going to just allow him to cover a little bit more ground with every stride. And these, you know, these 5-stride, 4-stride lines, 6-stride, whatever, on impulsive horses are the hardest thing to do because they land, and in the air they know they can take off with you, and they do sometimes. Beautiful. Good, good, good. And let him walk. He still actually gets a little bit crooked when he jumps, which is one reason why he often lands on the wrong lead. You know, he'll fall over in the air a little bit. And we're not working on that right now. We're just working on whether or not the stride is adjustable. And that was beautiful because her hot little horse was able to take the 12-foot stride, but he didn't get too hot. You know, so that's a big thing for a horse who's just been jumping for 6 or 8 weeks. Okay, who's next? Carrie? And you'll see people do all sorts of things to prevent that impulsive kind of running in between the fences. And different things work for different people and different horses. We'll talk about that in a minute. Fortunately, these guys are all so good. Well done. That was kind of beautiful. Let him walk. Except you did the lead thing wrong, but... Oh, go ahead and do it again. But heck, do it in 6 this time, Carrie. You did it in 5 so beautifully. The horse landed balanced and sat. It was adjustable within 2 strides after the fence, I thought. And that's what we strive for. Okay. Beautiful. And this guy's a dentist. Whoop. Let him do some right lead canter. Let him canter right lead, and then pull up nicely. Good. Carrie's not a professional. He's actually a dentist. But he rides pretty good, I'd say, for a dentist. His horse is funny, though. He just put his leg on real hard there at the end of the thing, and his horse just got stuck on him, right? The other day, can I tell him about how he got bucked off? He was in his dressage saddle trying to be all fancy, and we were trying to get the horse to do a half pass at the walk. Just get the haunches in and step over this way and get off that right leg. And Carrie put his spurs in a little bit hard, and the horse just went, boop! Carrie fell off. He landed on his feet. Okay. So the horse has an opinion. He's not perfect. Okay. Go ahead, Zoe. You know, if we had one of those really tough, impulsive horses, we might do something like canter in and do a nice halt in front of the second fence, so that the horse doesn't always think he's just going to go. Okay. Come again. She got 6. She was sort of thinking halfway through there, oh my God, am I going to make it? Am I not going to make it? She saw she needed to go for it in the middle, and she accelerated a little, but it wasn't quite there. So she put in that last little 6 stride. Let's see what happens this time. You're going to have to go quite forward to get it in 5, aren't you? Ah, almost. All right, try again. I think, get a nice forward pace. Put your leg on when you land, okay? First thing you gotta do is get a nice fence in the first one. So look at that first one like it's the one that matters, but then when you land, put your leg on and just keep accelerating. Go. All right, we didn't get it. Let her walk a minute, that's okay, for now. So the last thing you want to do is just push at a horse. Just because you want to make the striding. If she was showing this horse in a jumper class, we wouldn't really care. She'd still have clean, right? And she would probably let the horse shorten a little bit and get the 6 more comfortably. Would you like to do that? Come around left lead and do it, and this time let her do it in a natural 6, okay? The horse has a naturally shorter stride than the other horses, right? We wouldn't try to make a pony do this in 5. And ideally, no matter what we do, whether we did this in 10 strides or 4 strides, they will be even strides. Okay, she came more forward this direction. That's all right, let her walk. We're not here to perfect things, we're just here to demonstrate all our weaknesses. Good. Yeah, so the horse actually was a little bit more forward coming through here, and even though she didn't want it necessarily to be, it was the exact same thing, 5.5 strides. That's okay, for now. Now, can we turn? So I was saying that the impulsive horses, what we have to do is things like canter in and halt. We would never canter in and halt like this. We would always canter in and halt correctly and calmly in front of the fence. And if it was difficult to do, I might stand at the second fence to signify to the horse that it was going to wait. But really what we need to do is improve the canter. And it is really hard to get a good canter when you land off a fence, especially if this were a big wide oxer and the horse came in and jumped a little bit flat like a steeplechase horse. It's very difficult to adjust those first few strides, but those are the ones you want to adjust. And some would say that a thoroughbred that has a tendency to jump a little bit flat and quick is harder to do that with than a horse who naturally jumps around a fence, who lands going slower. When they jump flat and quick, they land usually even quicker than they took off. And that's why they're good at steeplechasing. All right. Let's let these guys do a little course with what we have here. Come through our little grid. Now we have it set for trotting, 18 feet, trot in and jump the second one. But these guys are good enough that they can canter in, and they'll have to create a fairly small canter, and they'll look at that first thing, and they'll step over this at the canter, and then their horses will have to step over that vertical, and then they will put in a fairly, actually I think I'll spread this out a little bit. It's very tight right now. Maybe what we'll do is let you go first and leave it the way it is, Zoe, and then we'll spread it out for the other guys. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. It's almost a little less than 7. That's 21 feet. 24 feet would be at a horse show with jumps that are 3 foot plus for one stride. But go ahead, left, you're going to come in, don't start yet, you're going to come in left lead, come just inside of that vertical to get to the line. Pop through here, turn right, jump down the line, okay, you can do it in 6. Cross the diagonal, jump this vertical to that vertical, okay? And then circle around. And let me show you how this vertical to that vertical is going to work, okay? You're going to land here, and you're going to go in a straight line. 1, 2, 3, 1, 1, 2, 3, 2, 1, 2, 3, 3, 1, 2, 3, and you're going to start turning, okay? So you're going to go a few strides. I didn't count. You're going to go a few strides before you turn. And you're just going to wait and look for it, and then your horse is going to jump off of a fairly tight turn. You'll get 2 chances to do that. So through the grid, down the line, across the diagonal. So you'll be jumping a little on an angle the first time, which will make it easier, and around to that. And then the second time you jump it around to that. You can do it on an angle if you want. See how that works? So now we're turning, right? We've added a real grid, and we've added a difficult turn. See what happens. So Zoe can actually come in a little more forward in her canter than the other horses. Good, that worked for that horse. Good. There, she got more even strides that time.
Steuart, you're working on about 5 minutes.
Good. Good. One more time. resistance in the bridle, but feet did the right thing, right? Wow, good job. Woo. Oh, well, no, let's not clap. We can do the Quaker thing, yeah. Because Michelle's getting ready to go and her horse doesn't like clapping. Good, that was well done. The very last jump, I thought she made a brilliant turn. The horse almost put her feet down one last time and then she took up off the ground. And what I liked about it is that when this horse came around the turn and then had to jump, the horse was jumping off of the turn because of the way it's set up. And that actually looks hard, but if it's done right, it balances the horse. The horse in the turn has to kind of slow down and sit a little bit. If it falls into the turn, then you get a run out. You know it. You know you screwed up. But if the horse does a half-decent turn, it sits a little bit, and then you can adjust its stride as you come to the jump if you keep it in front of the leg and active. They're going to kick us out of here, so we're going to keep it moving. Both of you are going to get one chance to do this. Good. Good. So he got in on a little funny half stride, but this horse has natural talent that he just fixed it, no problem. So she chose to do the 6 because she felt like the horse was getting a little impulsive and she didn't want to let it go forward quite yet. Maybe change leads in the air. She did. Beautiful. Wow. Nice riding. Keep going. Come around, just jump that last fence again. Just so he finishes on a nice fence. Boy. Good boy. Well done. Yay, yay, quick clap. Although now he's done, we can piss him off. Nah. That was very well ridden. I mean, you could just see that that horse was almost going to jump out of his skin, and that Michelle had to be very tactful. She would have had time penalties if she were at horse trials. But that's okay, she's schooling, and she's trying to give the horse a good experience and keep it quiet. Well ridden. Shuffle step there. Oop, you're off course, dude. Breathing too much ether in the dentist's office. Good. He had to wait, so he let the horse drift right into that angle, so he get a good spot. Go ahead and do that again. Tell these guys it's actually harder when you come straight at that jump than when you angle it off the diagonal. Well done. Good. Let it walk. All right, now we can clap, I think. Oh, except, I'm sorry, somebody has a bunion. I was thinking we were done. One more. Or you did go. I'm sorry, you were first. I've been breathing the ether, maybe. That was a good ride, too.
That was our 1 minute, Steuart.
Yeah, we're leaving. We're leaving. website. There's any of y'all who have horses off the track, put them into our database. There's a bloodline rack, so people can search by pedigree for what these horses do after they race. And hope all y'all go out and get yourself a